It's a race where, you know, you see some of the best 10 furlong horses bump heads against each other, and there's always a great result.
London News, he's everything they said and he wins.
Asian President sweeps up, goes to the front. Japanese history in Hong Kong.
Viva Bataka, a John Moore, Mick Cannan double. The Derby winner, Ambitious Dragon, makes it 3 Group 1s in a row.
Probably the best race I've ever been in my life. The feeling is just amazing.
Away goes Rulership. He's destroying his rivals in the QE2 Cup.
When you cross the line with a horse like that, one of your dreams will just become true.
He's roaring away with the QE2 Cup, and it's a big win for Blazing Speed, Neil Callan and Tony Cruz.
Would have been like one of the top 10 races in the world. Like everybody wants to win one of those, so I was just lucky enough to win it once, and now I've won it once, I want to win it again.
Werther absolutely destroying them here in the Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup. Magnificent Werther.
We get to get a very good idea, a very good line on the quality of a Hong Kong horse flesh. To win another QE would be another feather in the cap.
Only 2 horses have previously won the Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup on more than one occasion. That's Aishin Preston, of course, local legend in Viva Pitaka. On Sunday, 3 horses will be trying to join that elite group in Designs on Rome, Blazing Speed, and last year's hero, of course, which was Werther. A very warm welcome to our feature here on Sunday's $20 million Group 1. I'm Andy Lejeune. I'm joined here by our international panel by Nick Luck, debut here in Hong Kong, but a regular face to viewers in Europe and, of course, North America. And Steve Moran from Australia, man for all seasons, and just about calling Hong Kong home as well. Welcome, gentlemen. Nick first. Nick, just a small group, the 3 horses, but from very strong racing jurisdictions and representing 3 of the strongest form lines as well.
Fantastic local representation, also great international representation. The Japanese horse, Neorealism, looks as though he's got the strongest recent form in the race. He'll try and make every yard of the running, I'd imagine. Just a question of whether he's a little keen out there on his own, but he's got Magic Man Moreira on his back to help him settle, and he's a very, very smart animal.
Yeah, we'll learn more about Joe Moreira later on. And Steve, if nothing else, we might get the same weather as last year as well.
Yes, which would certainly favour Werther.
Yeah.
That little give in the ground which he relished last year, and he probably relaxed better in that race than he's done on any other occasion, and then produced the electric turn of foot, which saw him win by 4.5 lengths. Could he do it again? Slightly different preparation leading into this race, but he's going to be hard to beat, and I think Pakistan Star just adds that little X factor to the race that, you know, we like to see in a feature event.
Absolutely, yeah. And the keen-eyed amongst you would realise that, yes, we are here at Happy Valley. The reason being is the barrier draw took place earlier on this afternoon. We're going to have a look at that and the full 8 runners as well. Of course, headed by Werther, last year's champion. He's come up with barrier 2. Hugh Bowman on board once more. Secret Weapon from barrier 8 for Dennis Yip and Zach Purton. Designs on Rome, winner back in 2014. John Moore and Tommy Berry, his favourite jockey, back on board. Blazing Speed won this in 2015. Tony Cruz and Neil Callan. Neorealism has come up with barrier 6 for Joe Moreira. The United States from Australia, barrier 5. Dicton from France, barrier 4, placed in 2 classics last year. And of course, Pakistan Star and Sylvester de Sosa flying in from barrier 3. With only the 8 runners, I'm not sure how much the barrier draws are really going to impact things, but let's start with Werther, last year's champion. From barrier 2, no real concerns.
I don't think it's a real concern at all. As you say, 8 runners. There is a lack of pace in the race. I think that might play against him a little bit. And that key point that Steve made, it was wet last year. I think it's going to need to rain from now, and we're talking Thursday afternoon right the way through to Sunday, to have the same sort of an impact, or at least rain on the day. It does look like a shining beacon in an otherwise just respectable career, that piece of form, doesn't it? And I'm not sure I trust him to do it again.
Last year, well, John Moore said that he exceeded his expectations, Werther, and what he achieved, but now there's a lot expected of him to defend his title.
Yes, well, he was the Derby winner, and he is unbeaten in 3 runs this course and distance. And the relative times last year were interesting between the Derby and the QE2 Cup. They were very similar. Now, tempo affected that, of course, and the cut in the ground did give him an advantage, but I don't think he absolutely needs that cut. I think top of the ground he's still a worthy contender.
He's a mid to high 1-teens horse.
Yeah.
On any given day, with given the ground, he can run into the 120s, can't he? You know, I'm not trying to damn him with faint praise. I think he's a very good horse, but he's a potentially great horse when it's soft ground.
Yeah.
some of these horses have had quite long campaigns. He missed the first half of the season here in Hong Kong, which may turn out to play to his advantage. He's come here as a relatively fresh horse.
Yeah, particularly when you look at a horse like Pakistan Star, who for a young horse has had quite a lot of racing.
Well, that's our thoughts on the defending champ. Let's get the thoughts of the man himself, trainer John Moore.
He's the fresh horse going into the race. We had a setback at the beginning of the season. For that reason, he didn't compete in the early seasonal Group 1 races, but he's only, as you said, had 3 runs. And he's, as far as I'm concerned, he's done everything right, and he's going into the QE, a very fresh horse, and I really believe he's one of the horses to beat.
Of course, Werther won the race last year as the Derby hero. This year we've got the Derby runner-up in Pakistan Star, and our very own Jenny Chapman went out to meet him and trainer Tony Cruz.
Pakistan Star still coming, sweeping to the lead. What an amazing turn of acceleration. Pakistan Star raced to the lead from Marble Hero. Oh, he's a ripper.
Let's meet Pakistan Star because you don't
He's a
normally
friendly
see...
horse. I'd like to introduce you to him.
Yeah.
Now he hasn't got his hood on and blinkers. He can see you clearly.
He's a beauty,
and
isn't
he's
he?
Such a good natured horse. Very seldom you can find one like that. You know? You're a good boy, aren't you?
He's not much.
You're going to win races, right? And he always listens too. He listens to exactly what I tell him to do, right?
Set, and they're off. Now Pakistan Star was slow, as was Cheer Win.
But then I'm shouting for my other horse, Game for Jet. Here comes Pakistan Star on the outside. Oh my goodness! I said it's got to have an engine in this horse.
Look at Pakistan Star right out in the middle of the track from last to first. What a win this! Pakistan Star has blown them away.
It thrilled me very much, you know.
Yeah.
I knew he's got the ability ever since then.
The internet, he went absolutely crazy around the world. Just that style in which he won his very first performance, and of course he backed it up with another one.
That's right, you know, tailed off and come with a big last quality. He ran at 21 something, right? Which is one of the fastest last sectional times you ever can find in a horse. But then the second race, you know, that was next season, this season, you know, I'm very happy with this one. And but you know, I couldn't put up with going so slow all the time, coming out of the gates so slow.
Set there off, and he has missed it. To the roar of the crowd, he missed it by probably 2, Pakistan Star.
There again, he's a horse that improves all the time in his run, you know.
Pakistan Star to Souza. He lets him rip down the middle. Rapid Dragon raced away. Pakistan Star trying to reach him, but this is one serious thoroughbred. Rapid Dragon too good again. Pakistan Star, the turbo's been turned on, then Seasons Bloom, Rapid Dragon, Pakistan Star's eating up the ground, Rapid Dragon in front from Pakistan Star, the puzzle now complete, Rapid Dragon takes the Derby from Pakistan Star.
Definitely he's going for that, and don't forget he's on a PPG, and you know, maybe after Audemars Piguet QE2 Cup, I might even back him off and wait for next season, because he's only a PPG. I've been pushing him a bit, you know, this season. He's had 8 starts this season, total of 9. But I reckon maybe after this one, I might give him a break. I'll see how he pulls up, you know.
Of course, racing needs its personalities, both with 4 legs and 2, and we've certainly got that with Tony Cruz and Pakistan Star.
Yeah, well matched, aren't they? Cruz and Pakistan Star. He's probably the most watchable horse running at this level anywhere in the world, because he has that sort of Zenyatta-like ability to get detached and then wire around the field. My worry, Steve, is just a question of whether Pakistan Star will get there. Yeah, I know it's 2,000 metres and he's been winning at 1,400. He's even won at 12. He'll get this distance, but will he get there in time? Will the pace be contested enough for him to run at?
Yeah, look, it's the tricky question, although the only time he's raced in a small field was in the Griffin Trophy. He began quite well that day, and in fact he settled 5th and only about 3 lengths off them, then eased a fraction to probably be 5 lengths off them after they'd gone 400 metres. But I think in the small field, he will be naturally closer. I think it'll work to his advantage. And I think as long as the tempo is reasonable, you know, if Joe is able to completely dictate terms and run the first half in 51 seconds and then scoot home in 33 and a half, well, he won't pick him up. Yeah. But if the tempo's reasonable, I don't think he'll be conceding as big a start as we've often seen him do.
Well, it's interesting you pick up on that, because Tony Cruz has said during the week that he wants him, he was after a low draw to sit midfield, so he didn't give him as much of a start. But outside of that one run, all of his best races, last and finishing hard.
There is that aspect of star quality about him as well. In addition, He's relatively young compared to most of the field. He's probably one of only 2 horses you could realistically say we might not have seen the best of yet.
Yep.
Possibly the other one's the French horse Dicton, big outsider, but Pakistan Star, we've not seen the best of him, I don't think.
I think it was interesting, Andrew, that he's since had that barrier trial. And I know it's a barrier trial, but he looked a more professional racehorse that morning. He tracked through in between horses, finished the race, or finished the trial off nicely, on the bridle. He just looked like he's maturing a bit to me.
He's just starting to become a man. It's an analogy that many John Gosden's used it for Jack Hobbs, that he was just a playboy, just a teenager. Maybe the same with Pakistan Star to a certain extent.
Yeah, it's be really interesting to see over time what his optimum distance will be. Are you convinced it's going to be this distance of 2,000 metres? He's a horse with plenty of pace.
Andrew, you touched on off-air. Race 8, number 8.
Yes.
More importantly,
it's a foregone conclusion.
Yeah.
And given that my birthday is the 8th of the 8th, 1988, would you believe? No, disregard. No, my birthday is the 8th of the 8th. So I'm all over Pakistan Star.
1888, there's another 8 for you.
So, nailing it down though, genuine winning chance or his best chances each way?
Genuine winning chance in my opinion.
A genuine winning chance, but I've got him underneath because I think he'll just not quite get there. I think he's going to be rattling home second or third.
All right.
Just one final point. You know, how good a horse is Rapid Dragon? I suspect he's really, really good, which further enhances the Pakistan Star CV, in my opinion.
Yeah, we'll get to see Rapid Dragon in a week or so, of course, in the Champions Mile. Now, Joe Moreira has been on board Pakistan Star for that win in the Griffin Trophy. He won't be on board on Sunday, but we can learn more about the Magic Man as we step inside the Magic Circle with our weighing in feature.
Hello everyone, I'm Joe Moreira. My nickname is Loi-san, actually Magic Man. I had some really good horses in my life. No doubts that Aberfriend has got a bigger spot in my heart, Aberfriend. It's hard to choose one, but I'll choose Ben Affobo in Hong Kong Sprint 2 years ago, 2015. Hong Kong Derby winner. It's a race that was very tough to win. I dreamed to win the race, and the horse that I won on, which was Rapid Dragon, if he was going to be able to make it, he was going to make history to win all 3 series of the Triple Crown of the 4 years old in Hong Kong, so that was very special. Frank Dettori. He's a nice bloke, funny, and a brilliant rider. That's what I like him the most. In Brazil, we all grew up watching soccer, so obviously I support my home team, which is Coritiba. Soccer. Roupa Nova. They are a Brazilian band which are very famous from long dates. So yeah, from very young, we used to hear their music on the radio. Pretty good ones. There was a date that I went out to ride in Rio, and when I went to talk to the owner of the horse that I was going to ride, he was quite very down and not very confident about his horse. And in Brazil, we used to put a number of the horse that we are going to ride on the shoulder here, on our arm, and I got the number 10. I said, all right. So when I heard about that from the owners and I went over to ride the horse was actually a beautiful horse. I said, this one must be wrong. But at the end of the day, I jumped on the wrong horse. And actually, another jockey got on my horse and went out to the race. So I had to come down and wait for my horse to come back with the other rider that wasn't even going to ride on that race.
All right, quick break for us. When we come back, they'll be looking back on the last Japanese winner of the race. That was rulership back in 2012 with Umberto Rispoli, plus the Overseas Challenge.